Another brilliant question: how to break up? When we think about breakup as an ending to relationship, we need to first redefine what we're actually doing when dating. As in the previous videos, dating is a process of a collaborative activity of two people collaborate and in the context of probably families and communities to find out whether there is a compatibility between two people so that they can enter marriage. If you look at that way, a relationship, the success of a relationship is really not to get married, but to know more about yourself and the compatibility between the two people. Um, so when we look at see like a breakup, it's actually not a breakup. It's not a tragic crash which stopped you from pursuing the goal of getting married. It's actually a link on a journey of knowing yourself and self-development and self-growth. So at one point in a relationship, one or both of you may realize that this is not a compatible relationship. You are not compatible in a context of marriage. And then what? I think there are several steps to do going through this process of so-called breakup. I mean, mostly this process has more to do with working on yourself. This is a time for you to grow, to learn about what have happened. So I'm going to focus on your inner process and the steps you take to transform and grow to be a better person. And you will see that when you do practice those steps, eventually you will know naturally how to react in an organic way. Every relationship is different, every friendship is different. So by going through those internal self-reflective, self-growth process, it will show you how to act in that particular relationship you are in. Okay. So first step is to acknowledge that this has happened. You have came to a realization, or the other person, or both of you have came to the realization, and acknowledge the emotions you have at this point. It may be hurt, resentment, anger, or missing the other person, or panic. Acknowledging all the emotions you are having. It is okay. Accept how you feel. Accept the reality. So that's the first step. This step, we say, there's a Chinese saying, say the good beginning is half the success. So to be able to do this step is actually key for the success of your whole breakup, self-reflective growth process. Once you're able to do that, the other step will be so much easier because you have a truthful foundation of your start. So the second step is to appreciate. Look at it as a learning experience, and what are the things you appreciate? You may appreciate it stirs so many emotions from you, so that you will be able to navigate and better manage your emotions. It may be a very short relationship and you were not investigating a lot emotionally. You may appreciate this experience helped you to learn more about what you like and what you don't like. You may appreciate the other person have helped you to grow in some way. So this stage is to appreciate, to have a sense of gratitude of what have happened. And this process will help you to release those resentment and to release those negative emotions, to embrace not just your own individual emotions, but also embrace the whole experience you have had, and look at what those experiences could have mean to you at that moment. And that is the step toward getting a closure. A lot of times during breakup, the two individuals tend to get together and have a closure together. This is there is nothing wrong of doing that, and sometimes it can be beautiful. But a lot of times it is impossible for the two people to get in together and have a closure. Most often, this is because the two people have two realities. They are in your own lives. Like you are one soul, you have your own reality, you have your own emotional reaction. So it may be difficult for two people to consult in one reality at that time. So this process actually helped you to find out your own reality, to digest on your own, and to work out of it, to have a closure on your own, which is possible because and highly likely, and because when you have a closure, you are trying to work on your own reality. It's not the other person's reality, right? And it will also help if you have broken up like 10 years ago and there is some residual emotion you want to work on. And in this case, you are able to digest what have happened in the past and show gratitude. It will help you to have a closure even when the other person is not there or cannot be reached or even not existing in this world. So the second step is to show gratitude. And third is to really deep reflecting on yourself. So you see, when you accept your own emotion and show gratitude about what you have learned, you already enter the process of self reflection. The third step is to really reflect on what are the things you could have done differently. If you have if you have learned about yourself, about the world during this experience, you show gratitude towards those things. It's organic smooth to transition to the next step, which is you try to find out what are the things you would do differently next time. So a lot of times, the tricky part of this step is a lot of times people turn to do this at the first step. They right away after breakup, without recognizing their own emotions and without showing gratitude, they jump to the third step and thinking, what could I have done differently? Okay, so there is a essential difference between doing this too early and doing that at the right time. If you do it too early, it's actually a childish way of reacting on the experience. So as a child, when parents say, oh, something showing they are not happy, the child may think, oh, it's because of my fault, I could have done something differently, I made a mistake. So that is really from a binary, like right or wrong perspective, and also from a perspective of trying to avoid discomfort. But if you start to reflect on what you could have done differently after embracing your emotional reality and showing gratitude, you will be able to have this adult, mature, and learning perspective, seeing what can I learn from it. And you are not avoiding any discomfort or negative emotions. You are embracing this experience, and as part of thankfulness, as part of gratitude towards the relationship, you learn from it, you absorb and see how you can act differently in the future. So this step is key to help you to grow, to transform, to be a better individual, basically. And after that, the fourth step, then you look at your relationship again, you evaluate it. Now you have been a different person, whether this is still compatible, is there any room to work on, what is your side of things you can grow, and then you can see whether this is a relationship you may want to revisit, or you eventually decide to move on. So oftentimes during this process, the other person may appear back in the dynamics and want to maybe reconnect for whatever reasons. And before you are able to complete the third step, when the other person come back, because you haven't changed, so usually the dynamic will repeat, and this will lead to a couple come back and forth. They break up, and then they make up, then they break up again. But after the third step, you're becoming a different person, so you are capable to navigate the same dynamic in a very different way. So this is a good time to revisit the breakup or your decision of whether this is a compatible relationship or not. During this process, the key is still to focus on yourself and not to find the fault in the other person. Remember, if this is not compatible, it's who you are, and everybody is on their own journey of growth. If the other person is not the same as you expected, or the other person is not growing in a way or at a speed that is to your liking, it doesn't mean it's the fault of the other people. It doesn't mean it's the fault of yourself. It simply means the two individuals are on different paths of learning and different paths of growth. So avoid finger pointing the other person and acknowledge the reality. So now you are in the fourth step. You are re-evaluating the friendship, the relationship. So you recognize your emotions, you embrace the reality, you show gratitude, you know what you want to do differently, and now you look at the relationship, right? And after that, the fifth step is to carry out your decision. If you decide that there is room for the development of the relationship, you may want to get back together and consult together. You may share your reflection experiences with the other person. If you decide this is not a good relationship, you may want to have some sort of closure or not, depending on your dynamics. So, see, this step is crucial because this is a way to come back and validate your decision and whether you really could or could not continue pursuing. But this step, the success of this step is actually based on the success of all the previous steps and even how you have built a foundation of a friendship underneath the relationship. So you see, when we know someone, we go through this process. We first realize this person exists, and then we interact with this person and determine the scope of our interaction. Either it's a friendship, or it's acquaintance, or it's dating. And then after that, we build a friendship. During this process, you are able to form a certain kind of norm, a certain kind of dynamics between two people, and then you call it a friendship. Right? And from that, you decide whether you want to go dating and you elevate from there. So if the process was carried out too prematurely, you start to pursue dating just right after you notice that person exists, or you start to talk about seriously about marriage right after you become friends without going through the step of dating, then the foundation is not there. So when we talk about the fifth step, it's based on you did have a solid foundation of friendship, so that even though relationship doesn't work out, you can fall back to the friendship and you can still navigate in that normalities. And oftentimes, if a relationship was carried out prematurely, or there is a sexual activities between the two people way earlier, then the two people may realize that they don't have a foundation of friendship. So if they are not compatible, there is nothing to fall back to. They cannot fall back to friends. They cannot even keep acquaintances. Of course, this is not the only reason two people cannot keep in touch, but oftentimes, if this kind of situation exists, it is often feel more like a breakup than an end of interaction, than a link of the self-growth process. So from here, maybe some of the things individuals can reflect on is how to make the whole dynamics more healthy next time, so that it has a foundation to fall back to. It is a quality friendship. After all, marriage and children or sex is just one part of the whole relationship, and there is a strong foundation. Like when you make a cake, you need to build the base, and the base is actually the core, which is the friendship. Beauty can fade away, and the children may grow up and leave home, and the lifestyle may change, the hobby may change. There's a foundation of friendship. This norm of the dynamics is very critical for having a healthy marriage. So this actually sets you up. How you conduct the relationship actually already set you up on how smooth this ending process process, or you may call it a breakup, or whether or not it will feel like a breakup. It actually was predetermined. So when you watch this video, you are thinking about whether the other person is compatible or not. I would encourage you to first reflect on yourself, to first reflect on what you like and what you don't like, and then going into the space to have a consultation with the other person. If for some reason this consultation cannot happen, then go through this process of recognize your own feelings, show gratitude, reflect on what you can grow from, and then reevaluate your decision and then have a consultation. Actually, this process is not only for breakup. It can exist at any time in your relationship. It's really a cycle. It's like a spiral process to help you to learn more and more about yourself. If both individuals in the relationship can do that, it will form a healthy dynamics. And if you truly do that, digging yourself to take time, maybe weeks, months, or even longer for some people to go through this digestion, it will certainly help you to grow and help you to be able to form more healthy friendship and relationship in the future. Hope this helps. If you have any other questions or comments, how you have been coped about this process of breakup, share your tips and experience there, and see you next time.